All right, Shalom Akim, Shalom, Shalom, Shabbath, Shalom. Okay, this is your brother Zakaria Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, coming with another lesson through the Spirit. Lord willing, this be edifying to the Lord's elect. All right, and before I get started with this lesson, I want to give our praise, honor, and glory unto our power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Ruchak Wadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, of whom I've grown in this truth under. Shalom to the Akim out there that's pushing the truth, that's laboring in this word, and that's pushing the gospel of the great kingdom that's soon to come. Shalom to the Akwath that's listening in, that's remaining true to the faith, and remaining faithful and submissive to their husbands and guiding their children. All right, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. You Israelite foreigners out there who live among the heathen, all right, and who look like those heathen nations. But your lineage goes back to the progenitors of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel through the line of your fathers. I want to say peace and blessings to you all. Barakatham. All right. So I was listening to this beloved brother, his YouTube channel. You go and watch this video here. All right. His YouTube channel is Judah 12144. All right, subscribe and be edified. The name of his lesson is "The Lord is Terrible and to be Greatly Feared." All right, he is terrible and is to be greatly feared, man. You know, and so he's doing a video on this Eve right here. You know what I'm saying? This woman, so-called black woman, who has a lot to say concerning the dark revelations that we're seeing today, man. You know, and this is the time of revelation, right? The time of revelation, the word revelation, I believe, goes into apocalypse or apocalyptus. Or let me get that correct. All right. So let me do this here. All right, so the word for revelation is apocalypsis. Apocalypsis. Okay. Apocalypsis, also from the root word apocalypto. All right, so I'm going to break this down a little bit. So let's go to apocalypsis. It says Strong's G602. The definition for apocalypsis is disclosure. All right, disclosure, appearing, a coming, lightning. All right, to lighten, manifestation, to be revealed. Okay, laying bare, making naked. A disclosure of truth, instruction. You see what I'm saying? And we're in that time of revelation. We're in the time of disclosure. Heavy disclosures that are happening right now, and a lot of people are finding it difficult to cope with what's being revealed right now. The apocalypsis regarding these episode files. You know what I'm saying? The Jeffrey files, man. You know what I'm saying? And this is that time. So the root word for apocalypsis, again, is apocalypto. Okay? Apocalypto. Strong's G601. Says to take off the cover. To take off the cover, or to disclose, to uncover, lay open what has been veiled or covered up. Okay? To make known, make manifest, disclosure, or disclose what before was unknown. Okay, so let's go to the book of Isaiah. All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 25. And let's go to verse 7. All right. Isaiah 25 and verse 7. It reads, "And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations." The veil that is spread over all these countries, man. All these nations can see it. All these different nationalities of people can see the truth in what is truly going on, all right, in this world. And a lot of people are having a hard time coming to grips with what it is that they're seeing here, because their world is being shattered by the small amount of what we see coming out of these files. Because like I said, mark my words, this is just the tip of the iceberg with these Jeffrey files that we seeing, you know. So let's listen to this video, okay, that the brother's sharing right here, and I'm going to get a couple scriptures on this. Bear Salakia. Turn these off real quick. All right.
Unbelief and disrespect towards the Lord. So let's get it.
I'm not all up on what Epstein did. I mean, a couple of years ago, I watched the Hulu or Netflix doc on Ghislaine. I think that's how you say her name, whatever. Epstein, right-hand lady. But if what's going on with these files is not making you question a God, I don't know what else you're going to need. Because slavery, you justify that, saying, "Oh, they didn't observe the 10 Commandments." How are you going to justify babies and children being used for pedos? I can't even get the words out, because it's like a mockery. It's just like, you really think there's a God that cares about children and babies and infants and people, or what's going on this plane? Like, you really think, because if there was a sovereign being that was all loving and all kind and was watching over every little evil or every little good that someone did and was rewarding them accordingly, how do people for generations upon generations from years and years get to do the things that they do? And you're telling me, oh, they're going to get their just resorts in another life? But they got to do whatever they wanted to do in this life, and you want us to be concerned about what happens after this life? Who gives a flying fuck about what happens after this life? What about what's happening now? What about now?
Okay. All right, Eve is she's in her moment right now. Yeah, so oh my goodness, that's probably a wig she got on. Anyway. You're seeing the results of what what Christianity so-called has produced, all right? Where you have the Christian church with these pastors and whatnot, and they teach you that God is love, God is all love, God doesn't hate, this and that, so on and so forth, all right? They teach you this one dimension of what the Heavenly Father is. First and foremost, they don't teach you his true name, nor the name of his son, which is Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, you know what I'm saying? But they give you this one-dimensional mind frame of what the Lord is, what the Heavenly Father is, and his son, you know what I'm saying? All love, all kindness, you know what I'm saying? Let me get this in Isaiah chapter 29. Okay, this is Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 11. Okay. Let me get verse 10. Isaiah 29 and verse 10, it says, "For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers hath he covered." Okay? And it was a long time without the prophets, man. Like the scriptures say, you'll be without a king, without an ephod. You know what I'm saying? Without a covering, man. And so for the longest time, as the scriptures say, my people have been lost sheep. You've been lost sheep. All right? You don't know the Lord, man. You've forgotten who the Lord is. You've forgotten his great power. You've forgotten his might. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother's lesson. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is terrible and to be greatly feared. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is terrible, man. But our people have forgotten this. Our people have forgotten who the Lord actually is. Verse 11 of Isaiah chapter 29, it says, "And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed." You know what I'm saying? For the past how many decades? How many decades, man, have you been going to this so-called Christian church? How many decades have you been doing it? 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you know what I'm saying? Just going in, and you haven't learned a single, let me put it this way. You haven't come any closer to understanding who the Lord is. You know what I'm saying? You haven't. You have this warped mindset or perception of who the Lord is. Continuing on, verse 12, "And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned." You know what I'm saying? So the scholars, all right, the scholars, they've had this book for decades, and they have not unlocked these mysteries. You see what I'm saying? And it takes them years upon years to grasp the understanding of the mysteries in this book to any capacity. It takes them many years to do that. Okay? And then you have those who are unlearned, and they take this book and it's like, well, what can I do with this? Go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Okay? And let's read it from cover to cover. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. You know what I'm saying? And it was darkness upon the deep. Like, come on, man. It says, "And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned." Take a so-called Christian and ask them, is reincarnation in the Bible? And they will emphatically tell you no. You see? They'll tell you that in a heartbeat. But the scriptures clearly teach what reincarnation is, and that is in this book. All throughout it. Our ancestors knew this. You see what I'm saying? Our ancestors knew this, and they knew this quite well. And the elites know this. Verse 13, "Wherefore the Lord said, For as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men." So for all these decades, you've been going to these churches, they've been hitting the organs, you've been jumping and shouting and hooping and hollering and giving your tithes and giving your rent money to this pastor so he can get a new Rolls Royce or some shit. but you haven't come any closer to understanding who the Lord is. You see what I'm saying? This is why when these revealing files, when all these things that's showing revelations of what's been hidden for all these years, when you see it, it shakes the foundation of your existence. Because for all this time you've been walking around, or you've been having these psychos, okay, walk around amongst you. You know what I'm saying? You elected them. You watch them on TV. Okay? They tell you to put a mask on. All these types of things. You listen to these sick, sick people, man. And it's not just the men. It's not just the men. There are women in those ranks. You see? That's another thing that I'm noticing about these about the revealing of these files, man. It's a lot of selective outrage. It's a lot of selective outrage. You have a bunch of people on the left saying, look at all these Republicans in this file, but they ignore the people that's on the left that's also in those files from the Democrat side. And then you have the Republicans saying, look at all these Democrats inside these files, and then they ignore the fact that their Messiah, all right, DJ Nero, is in these files, and they say that it's not that bad. You see? It's selective outrage. Then you got the women saying, look at all the men, look at all the men. And yes, this majority of these crazy ass men, no shit. But then they ignore the women that are also involved as well. You see, so it's a lot of selective outrage. All right, but the Lord he's not a respecter of person. He's not a respecter of persons, man. But you have to understand that all of this is a plan. All of this is in his plan. Okay? And to the average person, they can't see that. They can't understand that. That's so sick. That's so crazy. How could the Lord allow this to happen? You see what I'm saying? Let me get this in Isaiah chapter 55. All right. You see, now as we get closer and closer and closer to the end, we are truly understanding what the scriptures mean in Isaiah 33:6, where wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of our times, because a lot of people are no longer stable. It's Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 8. It says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." You see? So what possible plan could there be that involves children being done like this? What's going down? Look at all the stuff that's going down over in the West Bank, in Gaza. You know what I'm saying? All these people, men, women, children, innocent, people that's being done left and right by the hands of these Amalekites. I just saw a video where they harvest the organs of these young Ukrainian soldiers. Okay, and it's all sick, man. It's all sick, and disposed of the rest to be used in fast food. It's all crazy, man. It's all crazy. It's all crazy. You know what I'm saying? And still, only the prophets can give you the true understanding of what the Lord desires, man. You have to know what the will of the Lord is. You see? And what is the Lord's will? The Lord said that there will be a great revealing of this devil, man. In these last days, these demons are being revealed as the scripture said that they would. Let's get this in Second Thessalonians, excuse me. Second Thessalonians. All right. They have to be revealed. You see, because if they're not revealed, if they're revealed and it's nothing that's really crazy, it's nothing that really shatters your worldview, well then what impact would you be looking at? Nothing really. You see? So let's go to Second Thessalonians. Let's hit chapter 2. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3, it says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." All right? And that man of sin is talking about Esau, Edom, the nation of Edom as a whole. That's what it's talking about. The border of wickedness, as it's written in Malachi 1 and 4. The scriptures say that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Job 9 and 24. And who's the wicked that's ruling this world right now? You see? That's who's being revealed. These Edomites, these so-called Caucasians, these so-called white people, man. All right, the scriptures call them red. The scriptures call them red. It says, "Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High," man. You know, and this is why you've seen that that major ritual in the Olympic ceremony, opening ceremony. You've seen that ritual. You see what's going down with all these Super Bowl halftimes. Okay. When you see what's going on with this artificial intelligence, they're creating an AI god of their own. Okay. And it's just getting worse and worse, man. All right. But these devils are showing themselves that they're now God. You see? That we're going to control your lives. So this is that time, man. It's time for these devils to be revealed. And in order for this impact to have been in a way that it needed to be, the Lord needed all these devils to do what they needed to do, man. To be that border of wickedness, to be what's the scripture saying in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16? It says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. You see what I'm saying? There's no one on this planet who is more perverse, who is more sick and depraved as Esau, Edom. No one. No one. No one can touch how sick these Edomites are. No one can come close to it. You see? And the Lord had to have them do all these things in secret places so that he can bring them out, so he can show them in this last day, in the last moments. They had to be revealed, man. This is what's going to help cause the prophecy of Revelation chapter 17, where all these nations, the 10 horns, are going to hate the whore. All right? Where the world is going to look at America in such a detestable manner. You see what I'm saying? This is the prophecy of Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 5. You see what I'm saying? But if all of this was not revealed, this prophecy would never come to pass. You see, if they didn't do all this wickedness that you're seeing, all right, Isaiah chapter 32, verse 5, it says, the vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord Yahweh, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. You see what I'm saying? When you see all these nations where their populations are dealing with hunger, dealing with thirst, famines everywhere, this is all Esau's doing. This is all Esau's doing, man. You see? All these multi-billionaires, we're not even getting into the Rothschilds. All these multi-billionaires like Peter Thiel, you know what I'm saying, like Sam Altman, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. All these low-level luminaries can pull just a fraction of their own income, a fraction of their net worth, and they can solve world hunger just like that. Just like that, off a fraction. America uses hundreds of billions of dollars, trillions into defense spending, and not a single cent of that is meant to get you food on the table. You see? So let me get this here let me see, I can grab this in the NLT. All right. And bear with me, my computer's slow, so let's do this. All right. So this is Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 5 in the NLT. It reads, "In that day, ungodly fools will not be heroes. Scoundrels will not be respected." And this is what's going on right now, man. All right, your enemies, these Edomites, so-called white people, are being what? They are being exposed right now. They're no longer being seen as the heroes that they portrayed themselves to be. You see? They're ungodly, and the world can see them for who they are now. Okay, for the longest time, this Joker Trump was talking about, I'm gonna release these files, yada yada yada. Then he gets up in there, oh well, they're on the desk, and we're reviewing them right now, and then there are no files. Stop talking about those files. Were we still talking about this guy, Epstein? You see? And then what happens? Then all of a sudden the files exist. They exist now. When you say, you see, MAGA is something else. These MAGAs are something else, man. While this nigga tap dances on your intelligence right in front of your face, it's the best thing to see. You see what I'm saying? But in any case, the world is no longer respecting America for the depravity that they show. Okay? So in that day, ungodly fools will not be heroes. Scoundrels will not be respected. And all of this had to happen to bring the world to this point, because what is the will of the Lord? The scriptures say that his determination is to gather these nations. To what? To judge them. To judge them. And you sitting here thinking that the innocent blood will not be avenged. Verse 6 in the NLT, "For fools speak foolishness and make evil plans. They practice ungodliness and spread false teachings about the Lord Yahweh. You see? And one of those false teachings about his holiness is what? That he is all love. You see? One of those false teachings is that he is all love, that he doesn't hate at all. Never mind what the scriptures clearly tell you. Right? It says they deprive the hungry of food and give no water to the thirsty. All right? Trust and believe the Lord is going to completely equalize this thing, man, that we seeing, this madness. Right? Let me get this here. What was it in Ezekiel? What's Ezekiel say? All right. Ezekiel chapter 35. Verse 1, it says, Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir. All right, what is Mount Seir? Mount Seir was the homeland. Mount Seir is the homeland of the Edomites. Still is to this day. Set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say unto it, the Lord, all right, the Lord Yahweh power, all right, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. She mentioned slavery, right? She mentioned all these things, Jim Crow, whatnot. Okay. And rightfully, she was given the answer that that was a result of our disobeying the law, our disobeying the Heavenly Father and his commandments. Okay, yes, that has the part to play in it. You know what I'm saying? And he has confirmed his words on that point. All right. It says, we've shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. You see, they're going to understand what it's like to fear. They're going to know exactly what it is, because they put the type of fear and anguish in these people, these poor children. You know what I'm saying? And all these various victims around the world. Okay? But in your Christian church, you don't learn these types of things. You don't learn these scriptures. You don't learn the will of the Lord. You see? All these precepts I'm bringing out, you'll never hear this in the church. This is why you have this warped mindset of the Most High like you do. And it conflicts with what you see in the world today. It conflicts. You see? This is why they always say that there's contradictions in the Bible, because if it says that if y'all say that God is love, then why this? Why that? You see what I'm saying? You never go into the volume of the book. Only the prophets can do this. Only the prophets can do that. Go into the volume of the book and bring out the clarity and the understanding. You see? Let's go into the book of, let's see. Let's hit Habakkuk. All right. So this is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 6. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him? Who's the him? It's talking about Esau, Edom, the wicked. And a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? All right, because all these nations that these devils have laid down, all right, all these nations that these devils have done horribly to, they're gonna come and they're gonna get their vengeance. You see what I'm saying? The Lord's going to allow them to have their hands up Esau's ass. Verse 8, because, why? Because thou hast spoiled many nations. All right? And doing what they have done to the children. All right? To the children in their different traffics. Okay? That plays a heavy part in this. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. Because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. Right? Verse 12. Well, let's go verse 11. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that built. And I actually wanted to write a book one time. I wanted to write a book. And I think I wanted to name the book If the Trees Could Speak. Right? If Trees Could Speak. You know what I'm saying? And it was going to be in regards to, to what went down during Jim Crow, what went down during the time where there was hanging, lynching, and all that stuff. All right, what they did to Gadites, what they did to the children of Israel throughout all the tribes. Okay, I wanted to write a book about that, and I wanted to name it that, If Trees Could Speak, But nevertheless, even when you go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, all right, it tells you that the fir trees shall rejoice, man. The whole world is going to rejoice. So verse 12, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establisheth a city by iniquity. Jumping down to verse 16, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. That uncovered is going into what? It's going into that word apocalypsis. To uncover. You see? To uncover. To disclose. Right? And let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. All right. And then she goes into saying, well, this is going to happen in the afterlife. What kind of shit is that? And she would be right. She would be right. Because where's the justice in that? Where you get to live your life out and be and live happily ever after until the afterlife. Like that's why we understand that there is no place called hell. Okay? We understand that. Scriptures doesn't tell you that there's an actual place called hell, man. Okay? All right, it's talking about a condition that one must live out on this earth. All right? In their vessel. Being these bodies. You see what I'm saying? And these devils are going to pay every last one of them. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to be in some afterlife or nothing. It's going to be right here on earth. Right here on earth, because that's another thing that the Christian church doesn't teach you. The Christian church doesn't teach you about the throne of David. The throne of David is an actual government that is going to be established here on the planet Earth. You see? The whole world is going to be renewed. All right? After Israel is bombed to smithereens, she will be built back up. America is going to be bombed as well by all these nukes. But America is not going to be built back up. That is going to be a monument of what not to do. All the nations are going to see it. Okay, it's going to be an inhabitable zone. Okay, kind of like with Simba and Mufasa, right? Simba was like, well, what about that shadowy place? Okay, and Simba was like, Simba asked that question. Mufasa was like, we don't go there. You know what I'm saying? You must never go there. That's what we're going to be like with all these other nations. They're going to look at America, all right, the what's left of it, which is going to be a desert wasteland, and there's going to be no life there. Okay? No life. Only desert and dust and desert creatures. You see? Oh, there's going to be a fate for these jokers that do this madness. There's going to be a horrible fate. We're going to take these devils, we're going to put them in chains, and they will be our slaves. You see what I'm saying? And they will know what it's like to be at the very bottom. This is Psalms chapter 149. Psalms 149 and verse 6. Let's get verse 5. It says, let the saints, being the Israelites, beginning with the 144,000, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen, and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains, and their nobles with fetters of iron. You see, as they took us into captivity, we will take them into captivity. Read Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1 and 2. Psalms 149 and verse 9, it says, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. You see what I'm saying? They got something terrifying coming their way. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't know this truth, okay, if you don't know this truth, then you're not going to have that to look forward to, man. You see? Because with the way that this woman is feeling, she wants there to be absolute retribution against these devils for what they've done, man. Okay? And they will. And they will. You see? The Lord is not mocked, man. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Okay, I was thinking about a precept. Trying to remember what that precept was. I was looking for it. Damn. I can't think of it. All right. Let me see. All right, I can't think of what it was, but yeah, that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? Those who that's it. The water Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Let's go to Psalms. All right, Psalms chapter 73. Let's grab that. Okay, this is Psalms chapter 73. Let's start at verse 3. It says, "For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked." All right, these Edomites, man. When I saw the prosperity of these wicked people, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain. Violence covereth them as a garment. You know what I'm saying? They're not plagued like other men. They're not in trouble like other men, man. You know what I'm saying? Here it is. This nigga Epstein is still alive. He's still alive and well. He's kicking. All right? He's jiving. All he had to do was just grow his hair out and grow a beard out. You see what I'm saying? And he gets to just go around and mingle among the masses and be hidden in plain sight, living the life, while people around the world, the whole world, think he's dead. The whole world. You see? They're not in trouble like other men. Neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compassed them about as a chain, violence covered them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt. When you look at these devils, man, they're all corrupt, man. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily, all right? To hear this dude, Donald Trump, talk about let's move on. America, let's move on from this. Are you kidding me? You see? They speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. To have the audacity to say something like that. Okay? Let's move on from this. Hey, these jokers are tap dancing on these MAGAs, bro. All right? Verse 9. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out of them. And they say, how doth the Most High know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly. They prosper in the world. Who prosper in the world, they increase in riches. You see? They increase in riches. These devils prosper in this world. All right? They always have it. They're able to get off scot-free. Here it is, Joe Biden, who signed all those bills, or who crafted all those bills that put you Jakes in prison behind bars, the 3-strike law, Biden's law, you know what I'm saying, that had you Jakes going to jail indefinitely for small offenses. Here it is, his son is caught on camera for the world to see, with hookers inside the room. You see what I'm saying? Cooking up the powder. You see? And not a thing happens to his son. Not a thing. You understand? Verse 16. It says, when I thought to know this, it was too painful for me. You see? It was too painful for me until I went into the sanctuary of the Most High. Then understood I their end. You see what I'm saying? If we didn't have this truth, if we weren't dwelling in the sanctuary of the Most High as we are here, you know what I'm saying, understanding these prophecies, the mysteries, if we didn't have this, if we didn't have these breakdowns, if we didn't have what the Lord is telling us, we would be just like this woman here. You see? We would be just like this woman here. Okay? Look at all these people who's watching the Super Bowl right now. Okay? After all this bombshell that's all around them. You know what I'm saying? With these files, with the situation going on in so-called Middle East and West Asia. You know what I'm saying? All they can think about doing is pacifying themselves. All right, escaping the pain. Let me watch the Super Bowl. Let me gamble a little bit more. Let me just escape the pain. You see? Let me read that again. Psalms chapter 73, verse 16. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me, until I went into the sanctuary of our power. Then understood I their end. You see? And we understand the end of these Edomites, man. They're going to get everything that they've done and far worse. They're going to get it double. They will know fear. They will be terrified every single day of the week, every single week of the month, every month of the year, every year for 1,000 years. They will know fear. And then finally, they will be annihilated. Just as the elder Malcolm has said, they're gonna be running to that fire. They're gonna be running for that fire. It's gonna be that bad. It's gonna be that bad. They're gonna hope for us to finally put an end to their suffering. You see what I'm saying? To put them down once and for all. They're gonna hope for it. They're gonna beg for it. They're gonna plead for it. They're gonna run to it. You see? We're going to burn their asses. Yep. Trust and believe. These devils got something coming, man. They're not going to get off scot-free and just ride off into the sunset like that. All right? So I'm going to cut that there, man. I pray this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. This has been your brother Zakaria Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. In closing, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Ruchakudash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, of whom I've grown in this truth under. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom.